organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Headed your way tonight on Daily Iowan TV, the Olympic wrestling trials are coming to the University of Iowa. We will give you an inside look into the planning of this major event.
And one group of students is growing quickly, but can the funding keep up? We will give you the details later.
Rain in the forecast, I'll give you a look at the wet days ahead.
And women's basketball gets more sad news within their program. Also see how Iowa softball got through the cold conditions this weekend.
Good evening and thanks for watching Daily Iowan TV. I'm Taylor Brooks.
And I'm Katie Reber.
The Olympics are coming to Iowa City, at least the trials are. In less than a week, Iowa City will host the USA Wrestling Olympic Trials at our own Carver Hawkeye Arena. Over 13,000 people are expected to travel to Carver on April 9th and 10th. Daily Iowan TV reporter Mary Kate Herron has more on what went into the preparation for this big event.
Iowa City was chosen for the second time in a row to host the USA Wrestling Olympic Trials. The Convention and Visitors Bureau has been planning for this event since last spring, and they're ready for all the excitement that is about to take place here in Iowa City.
Our main focus has been on the trials for now probably 3 or 4 months, and this past, 3 weeks or so, the whole crew here at the CVB has been helping out on it and chipping in. So.
The CVB has been working together with the University of Iowa athletic staff and the USA Olympic Committee for the last year, and they are expecting the same success that they had at this event 4 years ago.
I think we're all kind of collaborating on it together. We have our conference calls every 3 weeks or so, and we've had those for, 3 or 4 months now, and we're all working together and trying to create the best product possible.
Yeah. I am standing outside of Carver Hawkeye Arena, where in just 1 week the Olympic trials will be taking place. I caught up with Assistant Director of Event Management, Matt Getz, to see what the preparation has been for this major event.
We've been doing an awful lot of preparation. A lot of the things we're working on right now are our venue setup, working on taking care of all the special needs that some of the people may have.
This past weekend, Carver hosted the NCAA Regionals for women's gymnastics, and as soon as the competition ended on Saturday, the Carver staff started working on the final steps to get ready for this event.
So the big pieces are in place. It's sort of the dotting the I's and crossing the T's at this point.
Reporting from Carver Hawkeye Arena, I'm Mary Kate Herron, Daily Iowan TV.
Monday kicks off the beginning of Islam Awareness Week. Throughout the week, the UI chapter of the Muslim Student Association will be holding events open to the public for anyone who wants to learn more about the Islamic faith. The MSA started the week off in the main library with posters that discussed a variety of topics, including modesty and science within the Islamic religion. Future topics include understanding a woman's hijab, Islam on the UI campus, and even a fasting opportunity. For those who are interested, you can visit their website.
Tuesday morning, a few Hawkeyes will head to the state capitol to see some of the progress being made by fellow students and faculty across the state. UI students, leaders, and faculty will meet with state legislators to discuss government, On the docket as well, it is time to showcase the hard work being done by Hawkeyes in several different departments. The annual event is set to be held at 10 a.m. Tuesday morning in Des Moines.
The UI has seen an increase in the number of disabled students on campus in the past years. The increase of disabled students at the UI means more students are going through the doors of the Office for Student Disability Services in the basement of Burge Hall. Disability Services recently saw a cut in one of their services, and many professors are expressing their concerns. Daily Iowan TV reporter Zhao Li tells us what has them worried.
There is over 30% increase of disabled students on campus in the last 2 years, according to the University of Iowa Student Disability Service.
The most common of all will be learning disabilities and attention deficit disorders. And then we have a smaller number of students with mobility impairments.
And the Student Disability Service offered a large range of things, including
additional time for exams, reduced distraction testing environment,
copy of notes for classes, sign language interpreter, electronic copies of the textbooks, and so on. However, now, one service is no longer offered.
There was a major change beginning January of this year in the middle of the school year for the spring semester. And the Student Disability Services used to handle all of this extra testing on campus.
But now the SDS would only administer tests that require
double time as opposed to 50% additional time, any technology that was needed, or any time there's a scribe.
90% of my students over the years have not been in that category.
Wheaton is currently teaching 2 business statistics classes. One of them has 200 students, and the other has about 600.
Right now, I have 6 students between the 2 classes which are getting extra accommodations time. In order to protect their privacy, part of their accommodations, which they get, requires semi-private testing.
Which means when he tests very large tests, these students need a separate place.
The reality is that's always been their responsibility, but our courtesy service, I think at some point, because we were able to do so well at doing those exams for the faculty, it became seen as an entitlement.
According to Mark Harris, there is no cut in SDS funding and staffing.
But if they have the same budget, and let's say their workload has dropped by more than 50%, and then faculty all over campus are scrambling to try to give these extra exams, that would be a misallocation of resources.
Especially since SDS uses work-study undergraduate labors, which cost less than faculty members or teaching assistants.
This drastic change in the middle of the year for the testing paradigm goes against the Board of Regents' drive for greater efficiency and the reduction of cost at the university.
To bring back the food service, SDS would require more space, but there's no current plan to move it into a bigger space. Reporting in Iowa City, Zhao Li, Daily Iowan TV.
Iowa City is making noise, and it's not just the students. For the die-hard Hawkeye fans, it is no wonder why Iowa City is in the running for the best small-town college town in America. USA Today Reader's Choice 2016 included Iowa City in its list of the 20 best small college towns. All the college towns on the list are vying for the top spot of the coolest college town with less than 100,000 people. Other notable college towns are Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Lawrence, Kansas, Ithaca, New York, and Santa Barbara, California. Iowa City is currently ranked 5th on the list, and voting lasts until noon Eastern Time on April 25th. Well, no wonder why Iowa City is in that top 5. It's absolutely beautiful, especially when springtime comes around.
Absolutely. Every season is gorgeous, but I'm excited for warm weather.
Oh, I am too. Let's toss it over to Sydney Zatz to see if we're going to get any warmer weather here in the next week.
Well, it looks like this week won't be so warm because it's going to be a wet one. Tuesday morning will start off, with clear skies and cool 30 degrees. But our chance for rain will be 50% in the afternoon with temps in the 40s. However, our evening will be a little bit warmer with temps in the high 40s and overcast skies. We can still expect a high chance of rain on Wednesday and Thursday with temps staying in the low 50s. Our evenings will be a bit cooler over the weekend with temps in the high 20s to the mid 30s. Now, for those who love storms like I do, we might see some on Sunday. We'll start off the day with a high of 62, but the warm temps might bring a higher chance of storms. Now, unfortunately, summer weather doesn't always result in the best weather conditions. In South Asia, flash floods are common during the summer monsoon season. They frequently cause damage, especially in rural villages and areas of minimal infrastructure. Northwestern Pakistan experienced a flash flood this past Saturday, which resulted in 34 injured as well as 45 fatalities. Thanks, Taylor and Katie. Back to you.
Monday was a big day in the political world. The Supreme Court announced a ruling that might be key when mapping electoral voting districts. A Texas court had previously ruled in favor of drawing districts based on the number of eligible voters instead of number of all residents. The High Court rejected this ruling, maintaining the status quo.
The month of March saw continued job growth in the U.S. Although U.S. stocks dropped just slightly, employers hired nearly 215,000 new employees. The increase in jobs is a good sign, but not enough to keep up with those still looking for work. March also saw more people looking for jobs and slight raise in wages.
While jobs may be rising across the United States, orders coming into U.S. factories fell again, making it the third decrease in monthly orders in the past 4 months. Officials from the Commerce Department say U.S. factory orders dropped by 0.5%. Well, Taylor, tonight one team will have the ball dropped on them.
Oh, they will. The big Final four game tonight, the final two between North Carolina and Villanova. Katie, who do you have?
Villanova, definitely.
Honestly, me too. Shot 70% in that game last week. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Let's toss it over to Hannah Thompson in the sports studio. Crazy slate tonight, Hannah.
Katie and Taylor, it is going to be neck and neck in the NCAA men's basketball finals tonight. Like you said, Villanova shooting hot, while North Carolina's defense is looking to be promising as well. Now, Iowa saw the hot hand of Nova in the second round of the NCAA tournament, and it's definitely going to be one for the books tonight. But bringing it back to Iowa City, Iowa softball saw their first Big Ten victory of the season on Sunday afternoon against Purdue. But the series went to Purdue as they clinched the first two games of the series. And Colin Murphy was in the cold on Saturday and tells us more about what Iowa softball saw over the weekend.
Saturday, April 2nd, the Iowa Hawkeyes women's softball team hosted the Purdue Boilermakers at Bob Pearl Field in Iowa City, Iowa. Starting pitcher Shayla Starkenberg struggled early for the Hawks when the Boilermakers jumped out to an early lead, scoring 3 runs in the first 3 innings of the game.
I mean, Purdue is a pretty good hitting team, so when I came out, tried to focus on getting our defense some ground balls, and there for a little bit we were doing a good job, but they just started to figure out my pitching a little bit.
Purdue took an early lead in this one and looked to be dominating for the rest of the game, but then in the 3rd inning, the Hawks' bats came alive when Sammy Geierman hit a 3-run bomb.
I had to make the adjustments. She really got me yesterday. I got 3 Ks yesterday and a little blooper hit. So I really just had to zone in on my pitch, figure out what she was going to throw me, and really just trust myself.
After tying the game in the 3rd and 4th inning, the bats of Purdue were just too much. The Hawks consistently fought back, closing in on Purdue's lead late in the game, but could not complete the comeback, falling to the Boilermakers 8-7.
I liked the fight we had because we had to keep fighting to get back in the ball game. A little frustrated with the fact that we couldn't hold them once we did either tie it up or get some more runs, and that's the areas we got to be better tomorrow. Pitchers need to be a little sharper, defense needs to be a little sharper.
The Hawks closed out the series against Purdue with a 10-3 win on Sunday afternoon. After losing 2 of 3 games, the Hawks are now 9-21 on the season and 1-5 in Big Ten play. Reporting from Bob Pearl Field, it's been Colin Murphy, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
And way up north, we stick to the Ball Diamond in Minnesota. This time, though, Iowa baseball finishing up their 3-game series on Sunday afternoon against the Golden Gophers after a canceled game on Saturday due to the harsh weather conditions. The Hawkeyes played a doubleheader on Sunday against Minnesota after an offensive surge by Joel Booker, who hit 4 for 5 with a double, home run, 2 runs, and an RBI. Now, Minnesota gave Iowa a little taste of their own batting medicine in the 3rd game of the series, hitting 4 home runs. Iowa's Calvin Matthews struggled on the mound for a 2nd straight weekend in the row. The loss went to the senior after 4 earned runs crossed home plate on 4 hits. Now, head coach Rick Heller knows where the improvement is needed and said post-game, "We had a chance to get back in the game and ran ourselves out of it with a bad base running move, which is unfortunate. The guys never quit. They battled. We just have to keep trying to improve and get better. That's all we can do." Iowa's back at Dwayne Banks Field on Tuesday night against Milwaukee at 6:05 p.m. And after a whirlwind of transfers in the last 2 weeks for both the Iowa men's and women's basketball programs, the women were hit with some more postseason blues. Point guard Tania Davis underwent surgery this Monday morning for her non-shooting shoulder. Davis played in 30 games this season and led the Hawks to 111 assists. The freshman is expected to miss 5 to 6 months. As Mary Kate explained to us earlier about the preparation going into the Olympic trials this weekend, there are going to be a few familiar faces that enter Carver Hawkeye Arena on Saturday and Sunday as they fight for their chance to go to Rio. Taylor Brooks caught up with a few former Hawkeyes, including Tony Ramos, who earned a #1 ranking in the 125.5-pound category. Ramos was an undefeated domestic record since 2014, since he won the NCAA championships for Iowa. Taylor and the rest of the wrestling crew will have the latest on the Olympic trials on Tuesday and Thursday.
That's all we have for you tonight on Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to check out our website, dailyiowan.com, for all of the latest news. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Taylor Brooks.
And I'm Katie Reber. Have a good night.